y'all, so I am back with another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Altra Torin. So it's this guy, this is what she looks like. So Altra is a relevantly new brand. The whole concept actually started in the 1990s with a man that worked at a run specialty. So he worked at a run specialty store, but he was also a competitive runner. And he was realizing that a lot of people were coming in and having a lot of feet problems, like shin splints, knee pains, foot pains. And after he did a lot of research and also being able to do in-store gait analysis, he noticed that the trend as to why people were feeling all of these issues was because the shoes that they were wearing, they had a higher drop. So a traditional running shoe is going to have a slant, and that slant he decided was actually bad. And also most shoes tend to have a more narrow toe box, which don't allow your feet to splay naturally. So that was something else that he found was no bueno. So what he ended up doing was burning off the back cushioning of traditional running shoes from the back of his store. He had a little toaster oven, and he would just say, you know what, you're having these problems. If you don't mind, let's just do some research, and I'm going to chop off the bottom cushion, the back cushioning of your shoe, and see if you get a more natural ride, and those problems go away. And for a lot of people, the problems did go away. So from there, that's how Altra just started with their zero drop shoe. So back to the shoe that I am reviewing today. It is the Altra Torin, which is their high cushioned neutral runner. So I ended up going on a decent amount of runs in it, quite a few actually. And although I did enjoy the shoe, and the reason why I even got it to begin with was because I went to an Altra demo run and I ran in the tester or the demo shoe for the Torin, and I loved it. I really did love it. So whenever I ended up purchasing it for myself, I had that recollection or that back thought of, oh, I love this shoe. I ran in it once. It was great. At the demo run, I want to say it was maybe 4 miles that we ran, and it was good. I really did love it. But whenever I got it, I didn't end up liking it as much as I thought I would. But it may not be the shoe. I actually 100% do not believe that it's the shoe. So the zero drop shoe, which also at my size 6.5, it weighs in at 6.3 ounces, and it has an evenly distributed cushioning stack height of 28 millimeters. This is their highest cushioned shoe, and I ended up getting the Torin because usually I gravitate towards high cushion shoes for every brand. So like I said, I really believe that the reasoning for why I didn't like the shoe is just my own personal preference, but it is an overall great shoe. And oh, you can even see it in my wear pattern. Okay, so I already naturally run on the balls on the closer to the tips of my toes, somewhere in between the mid-foot range, but maybe a little bit higher. And so this shoe I just thought would be perfect because since I already run that way and I don't really land on my heel, then I wouldn't even feel it anyways. But for whatever reason, the way that it's just one big block, I liked it, but it's not something that I would probably end up repurchasing. And if I do end up going towards Altra again, I would probably try something more like the Escalante or their new shoe, the Solstice, which are a more minimal shoe. Because as I ran, I felt like it just felt like one big block, and it didn't move naturally, in my opinion. And I already have a natural flex to my foot. By no means do I overpronate when I run. I even slightly supinate on one foot. But my foot just does have a natural give to it. So having that flat surface underneath me, I felt like my feet were just rolling in a tiny bit more than I would want, or flexing a tiny bit more than I would want them to. And so then I was curious because I even wore them to work one day just to see if I liked them to stand in, which I did like them to stand in, but I ended up having to switch out these guys for insoles because I did look it up, and it says that the insole of it has a curvature of 6 millimeters, but at the end of the day, what kind of support is this going to give me? You know, it's not much. But so since I didn't really end up liking how my foot overflexed in that, I did end up putting an insole in there, which made it a lot better, and I actually like the shoe a lot better after I put the insole in there. So that was a good one. But I felt like there was too much padding, and since it was evenly, and it could have all been in my head, but since it was so evenly distributed, it didn't feel like I was able to get a proper stride going. And you can even see it. I was way too high up on the balls of my feet, which you can see it more on this foot, because this is, fun fact, this is the foot that flexes a little bit more than natural. And you can see in my wear pattern that I'm actually wearing here, because like I said, I slightly supinate, but I was way up there. Normally my wear pattern is like here, maybe a little bit towards here, but this guy was way up here. That's how I know it just wasn't a good fit for me. And I just think that even though it wasn't a good fit for me, I can see it being a really good fit for somebody who is already used to wearing Altra. Maybe they were in a more low profile shoe and they're starting to amp up their miles. This would be a great shoe to go into, because you're already used to that Altra feel and you've already adjusted your gait and your positioning to a zero drop shoe. But for me, who actually normally runs in 8 to 10 millimeter drop shoes, which, like I've mentioned before, New Balance 1080, Brooks Glycerin, and the Brooks Ghost and the Brooks Launch. Those are some of my top favorites that have consistently been my favorites for multiple years, and those all range between 10 to 8 millimeter drops. So for me, this is something that I would appreciate a lot more if I was already used to the feel of the shoe. But I think that I actually ended up going from one extreme to the other, and my body just wasn't prepared for that. So even though I did like the shoe, I think that I would have appreciated it a lot more if maybe I would have tried a lighter weight shoe within the Altra brand first, and then gone up to that as I got heavier in my miles. But I did heavy miles, or for me, what I would consider for me a heavy mile, which is the furthest I went was 10 miles in it, which to me, that's a longer run for me. And it was also a completely different shoe than what I'm used to doing for a longer run. So I think that if I would have done shorter runs in a more minimal shoe and adjusted my foot and my body positioning to fit the zero drop shoe, then I would have appreciated it more once I went up to more miles and higher cushion. But overall, great shoe. It was good. It was comfortable. It just isn't something that I would think, oh, I just love that shoe, it's my favorite. But like I said, if you've run in Altra before, then, and you're starting to pick up your miles and you want to go up to a more cushioned shoe but still stay in that zero drop, the Torin would be absolutely perfect for you. And something that I did love about it was that since they do have a different shape to the shoe, it's supposed to be made to the shape of your foot, which I really actually did appreciate that. I did like that my feet were able to display very naturally in it. And this little piece right here, so it has a little piece of plastic material right here, which I thought was going to bother me when I first saw it, but I didn't mind it at all. I actually really appreciated it. I like that I could almost catch myself, because without it, I think that there would be too much room for movement in the shoe. And with that little plastic there, I actually really appreciated it. So yeah, like I said, I like this shoe. Is it my favorite? No. But I do think that it's more having to do with me and the kind of shoes that I'm used to rather than the shoe itself. Because I think that the concept behind them is actually very great. but I think that in order to appreciate it more, I'm just going to have to go back and, like I said, purchase either the Escalante or the Solstice and see how I like those, and then maybe go back to the Torin and see if it's a different feel, which I have a feeling it will. So that is it. Oh, and also this shoe is coming, this shoe is at the $125 price point right now. So if you are interested, I will put the link down below so you can purchase it if you'd like to. And if you have any more questions or something that I didn't get to that maybe I, for whatever reason, missed, you can always ask anything in the description box, not in the description box, in the comments down below, and I will answer them for you as honestly and as precisely as I possibly can. And if y'all have any other videos that you want to see or anything that I don't know, anything at all, then just let me know and I would love to do it for you. All right, you guys, well, have a good rest